Look out. Here come former SportsCenter anchor Bob Stevens, esteemed basketball coach Rich Basirico, and Hall of Fame sports writer Curry Kirkpatrick. And someone's going under the bus.
Yes, somebody is. We'll begin with Rich going under the bus for after proposing an Aaron Judge for Jose Ramirez trade last week. Gets Judge hurt, and it was a stupid trade anyway. So Rich not showing up tonight. We'll have to deal with that at some point. But we want to start with baseball, and I got somebody, Curry, Justin Jarrett, by the way, joining us in Rich's place, our usual esteemed producer, guy who knows more than either one of us, so that's for sure. And he will certainly inflict that wisdom on us as we go through the evening.
I don't know about all that.
Yeah, I want to start with Nick Kurtz, who probably had the greatest single game a hitter has ever had in the big leagues. Goes 4 for 4 or 6 for 6, 4 home runs. He is the first player ever. Let's see, I wrote it all down here. To have 4 home runs, 5 extra base hits, 6 hits overall, scored 6 runs, drove in 8. He is 22 years old, and this was just his 66th big league game. He's called the Big Amish. You got to love that one, Curry. That's a great.
He's Amish?
Yes. Well, he's from Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay.
From the middle of Pennsylvania.
He also had 19 total bases, wasn't it?
19 total bases,
which is a record.
All of that's a record. But I'm going to throw somebody under the bus with all of this. And it really shows how different baseball is from Curry from our day. Anyway, Bob Gibson would never have let that happen. In fact, between 1961 and 1976, nobody hit 4 home runs in a game. 15 years. It's been done 20 times overall. Yeah, twice this year. Wow. Couple of times in 2017, but in that 15-year span, it never happened because Bob Gibson, after the first one, would have stuck it in his ear, and that would be the end of that. Now, here's how Kurtz got away with it. All right, he came up in the second inning, or he hit a first inning single, came up in the second inning off the same pitcher, Gusto, and he was mucho gusto. They whacked one out. That was his first home run. Then he doubles off of Gusto in the 4th. Okay, so Gusto had his chance for revenge, but he'd only hit 1 home run off of him. But then in the 6th, he hits a home run off of Nick Hernandez. In the 8th, he hits a home run off of Caleb Ort. And then in the 9th, he hits a home run off a position player, Cooper Hummel, who came into pitch.
Those don't count. Those shouldn't count.
Yeah, they almost don't count.
That one does devalue it. That does devalue it.
I tell you what, it's, again, Bob Gibson would never have let that go. I think we've told the story about Gibson. I think it was in his last game, gave up a homer to the Cubs, Pete Lecoq. And, obviously he was upset about that. The two of them meet 20 years later in an old timers game. And Gibson sticks one in his ear in an old timers game.
Take that, Lecoq.
Yeah, take that. And Pete probably knew it was coming, but he understood perfectly what was going to happen. And
I'm glad you brought up my Cardinals, because one of the great memories of my youth was my hero, Stan Musial. Stan had 5 home runs in a doubleheader, which at the time was astounding. I don't think anybody's ever done that. Yeah. So, but it's not 4 in a game. It's not 4 in a game. So,
but Mark Whitten had 4 in a game as a Cardinal.
Mark Whitten certainly did. Yeah. But I think that was an extra inning game in the rain, and there were a number of pitchers involved in that too.
I want to throw the Athletics, the geographically nondescript Athletics,
West Sacramento Athletics,
under the bus, because they have 2 of the best rookies in the game right now with Kurtz and Jacob Wilson as shortstop. And you think they're going to sign either one of those guys long term? Athletics never sign anybody long term. No, I hope this move to Las Vegas. But
they don't have, the beauty of the way the game is played these days is that they don't have to. I mean, they've got him under control.
Worldwide West points out that Scooter Gennett also had a 4 home run game a few years back.
There's a bunch of guys
That's remembering
that are not big stars who have done it.
World knows all those guys.
Oh yeah, Scooter Gennett. That's a deep pull.
So let me set up the guy getting hit, not getting hit by a pitch. In this case, Nick Kurtz, with a guy who got hit within the last hour. That might be the most important pitch of the season, at least the week. This is trade deadline week, right? And one of the most coveted guys to get.
Certainly the most coveted hitter.
Yeah, hitter is Eugenio Suarez of the Arizona Diamondbacks. The Diamondbacks are in Detroit. 3-game series, only time they play all year. Tigers are winning the game 5-1, 9th inning. And Will Vest, the Tigers reliever, hits Suarez on the finger. And we don't know if it's broken or what, but the Tigers were actually one of the teams trying to get Suarez. They were apparently in on it. So they may have just messed up. He has 36 homers this year, their own chance to win the pennant because one of their relief pitchers does hit somebody.
Jeez.
Wild night.
Yeah.
Suarez, by the way, Worldwide has just informed me, also had a 4-homer game.
That's right.
In the past year. Yeah.
This year. Yep. So,
moving
and there are about 5 or 6 teams that wanted to
everybody
get him.
wanted Suarez. He's like the only kind of impactful slugger on the market right now, it seems like. So everybody wanted that guy. I wonder if that'll bring some other guys into the
Yes,
fray.
Suarez was in the All-Star game. In fact, but was it? I don't think he did the home run derby.
No, he didn't. He didn't do that.
But he was an All-Star, and Arizona did not think they would be able to re-sign him. So this was his walk year.
Speaking of a guy who has not hit 4 home runs in a game, or has gotten his finger hurt, but is on the IR is Aaron Judge.
Yeah.
And if Rich was here, he could tell us what the Yankees are going to do when Judge comes back. They say in 10 days.
They can't play Giancarlo Stanton in right field.
But Stanton is Stanton going to be in the outfield? He can't catch or throw.
No.
So they're saying that Judge might not be able to throw right away, so they may have to DH him, which really complicates matters.
He's already said
he has too many DHs as it is.
Yeah, he already said wants to DH.
They'll get the rules changed. Yeah. In August, you can use 2 DHs. That's called the Yankees rule. They'll get that in. Lots going on in baseball.
I don't know if it matters, though. Are the Yankees going to be able to catch the Jays? The Jays are on fire.
It doesn't look like it.
Although they're getting beat. They're getting beat as we do this. The Orioles are killing them.
My Cubbies are in a Donnybrook with the Brewers with NL Central lead on the line.
Your Cubbies. Cubbies Brewers. That'll be a good race going down. You guys both wanted to talk about a little incident in the clubhouse. The closest thing we've had to a fight in a baseball game in a while.
Yeah, Bryce Harper.
Happened in the clubhouse, and it happened with the commissioner involved.
Yeah, I mean, I just came across this today, but I guess Bryce Harper had some pretty harsh words for Commissioner Rob Manfred, who was bandying about the idea of a salary cap, which and more importantly, the idea of a lockout 2 years from now, which is pretty harsh terms to be using that far out. And Bryce did not take too kindly to it. Curry, you usually are the profane one. You want to tell folks what he said?
It was reported that Harper was sitting in a chair in the audience. Like a clubhouse, like nice chairs, like soft chairs, cushion chairs, and he was holding a bat. And he got up. When he got up, I guess he put the bat down. But he got right in Manfred's face. Apparently, and he said, if you're going to bring up salary cap, you can get the F out of here. I mean, and apparently Manfred went right back at him. He said, "I'm not going to get the F out of anywhere." And they had a little tiff right there. And Castellanos broke it up by saying,
he was the peacemaker.
Yeah, I've got some more questions. He said that broke it up apparently, but apparently
Yeah, can we get
Manfred
that
and
per diem raised? Yeah.
yeah. Apparently Manfred and Harper shook hands before the meeting was over. But then I read also where Harper has not returned Manfred's phone calls, and Manfred's right hand guy now is Mark DeRosa, who played 16 years in the bigs, and DeRosa apparently told the Phillies. He said, "Listen, Manfred is a powerful guy. Don't F with him." And the Phillies took that as a threat. So that's a whole new thing. And then DeRosa later said, "Oh, I know these guys. In fact, he's the manager of the USA team, Team USA." But he said, "Oh, I know these guys. They know I was joking. It was just a joke." But apparently they didn't think it was a joke.
I mean, the players certainly don't think it's a joke when you start talking about salary caps and lockouts. I mean, they're not going to take that as joking discussion.
Hey, I got something that's not a joke either, and it actually directly involves my team, the Guardians. It will indirectly. Here we go down that slippery slope. Mm-hmm. The Guardians lost their closer today, Emmanuel Clase, who has been suspended while they investigate another gambling allegation. This is the second Guardian to go down, and they've said at least through the end of August. So that's not until we get done with the investigation. It's at least a month, and then maybe they'll be done with the investigation.
He was a potential trade target too.
Absolutely,
big time. And now they can't. Nobody can get him because he bets too much. Apparently,
I don't know how they're going to gatekeep this stuff, man.
That's it. I mean, the game is now so ingrained with gambling.
And they're giving you the odds on the broadcast.
Yeah,
constantly, just encouraging you to go bet, go bet, go bet. They must be refreshing the odds down in the bullpen in Cleveland.
Oh, sure. Well, Clase, Saturday gave up a really bad home run in extra innings to lose the game to Kansas City. Gave up a 3-run homer in the 10th when he had the lead. That, that's neither here nor there, but he has had an iffy kind of year. He was really bad in April and has been really good since, but there's just the occasional weird thing where he just kind of comes unglued and blows it up. And of course, you guys saw what he did in the postseason last year when he took an almost perfect regular season and kind of blew it up in the postseason against the Yankees. So it's weird stuff.
I think that's why I called him Day Class A. Listen, didn't baseball also suspend his best friend a week ago?
Yeah.
For this betting thing.
Almost a month. Luis Ortiz, whom they got from Pittsburgh. Yes, they have lockers next to each other. They are both from the Dominican. And when they are together in their lockers next to each other, they're talking farming or they're talking something else.
Gambling.
But that's
hey, what do you guys talk about before the games? Oh, just farming.
Yeah. Just awful stuff. So Clase under the bus, Ortiz under the bus. Which one do we throw both Manfred and Bryce Harper?
Clown question, bro. Manfred.
Yeah. Harper.
I knew you'd like that, Curry.
Or do we throw Castellanos under the bus for not letting it get any better?
No, I think Castellanos is the hero of the whole thing because he also gave a pretty good quote about I understand why Bryce was upset. He's coming at us with talk about a lockout 2 years out, and that's just crazy adversarial. That's like the umpires who come to home plate and tell you, you can watch it from the dugout or you can watch it from the parking lot, or brag about how many guys they've thrown out. Don't start negotiations from that point.
Is that something one of the members of this panel has faced this year?
Oh, I've come across a few umpires who want to fight you.
Were you the one that they
want to fight you at the home plate before you even? No, I haven't been thrown out of a game in a couple of years now. About 3 or 4 years now. It's been a while.
Well, speaking of little leaguers getting thrown out, how about we go to the bat flip controversy in
Yes.
New Jersey the other day, where Haddonfield is, their star player is a kid named Marco Rocco, and he hit a home run, 2-run home run, flipped his bat, circled the bases, scored. The umpire threw him out, took the 2 runs off the board, threw him out of the game, and gave him a 1-game suspension. Well, right after that, apparently they called the New Jersey officials. They called the home office or something, and the official said, no, put the 2 runs back, but you can throw the kid out if you want. So the umpire, he put the 2 runs back on the board. Haddonfield won the game, but they threw him out. They suspended him for the next game. So his family, the Rocco family in New Jersey, I'm not sure it's smart to go up against anybody family named Rocco in New Jersey.
Rich could probably tell us a little more.
But anyway, the Roccos took this thing to court, and the judge quickly ruled for them so that the kid could play the next game. He came into the game, and unfortunately, the next game was a 10-0. Well, what do they call it?
Run rule,
Mercy.
mercy rule.
Mercy rule. They lost that, but then it's a double elimination. So they had one more shot, and the kid played again. Apparently, he's a really good player. He came to bat late in the game and hit another 2-run home run. It was his last at bat, though, because Haddonfield lost again to Elnora, 14-10. But this bat flip thing, what do you guys think? You coach in Little League baseball. What do they allow? Do they allow it around your games?
Well, I mean, you can be warned and called out for slinging the bat even. Some kids don't know better to put it down, and they get excited, they hit the ball, and they sling the bat to the fence, and they'll call you out for that. I had girls called out for it in high school softball this year, and it makes you mad as a coach, but you understand it because it's dangerous. Now this bat flip, this was a pretty excessive bat flip. He threw it in the air.
Yeah, he did.
There are rules,
but it was only a flip. There was no danger involved.
No, I don't think so. But I did read somewhere that the team may have already been warned about flipping the bats. And in that case, if you've already been issued a warning and you understand the consequences, you're gone. But I do think the home run should stay on the board. The bat flip, that's like a personal foul penalty after the touchdown. We're going to tack that on the kickoff, right?
Yeah.
The family, when they went to court, were armed with a lot of videos of Little League players flipping their bats without penalty. So I don't know where they got those, but
the rule is the rule. So you're not free of the rule just because somebody else didn't enforce the rule in another game. So if the rule,
Curry, did you ever flip a bat when you were in Little League?
Me?
After hitting a home run? Yeah.
I never hit a home
we
run.
get bat flips for walks now.
I think I flipped a bat on a single or a double, won the game or something. I remember, playing high school baseball, which I played high school baseball, and I remember guys flipping bats,
But
it wasn't
more
necessary.
stylish. It was more in the flow. It was it was like a club twirl in golf. It wasn't this excessive show of throwing it in the air, Jose Bautista style. He was the first one, right? Who really launched it.
Marco Rocco, after his last home run, did put the bat down. The last one he hit,
Lesson
he
learned.
just gently put it down. But
we love mistakes.
a bunch of this thing made national news, and a bunch of major leaguers came to Rocco's defense. Jazz Chisholm of the Yankees said it's ridiculous. It's ridiculous that this kid can't flip the bat. And I was surprised. Max Scherzer, the great pitcher, said, I don't mind guys flipping bats on me after home runs. I mean, it's just like me pounding my glove after a strikeout. Well, I don't know if that's an equation, but
I mean, I don't have a problem with the bat flips in general, but I also don't have a problem with throwing him out if he'd already been warned, if that's the rule. I mean,
I don't know.
I think.
Yeah. Maybe the alternative
walk off. You gotta let.
Maybe the alternative is to do what Pedro Serrano did in Major League when he hit the big home run in the big game. Just carry the bat
it around with you. Yeah, hats for bats. Keep bats warm.
That's it. Right.
But I had a thought about bat flips, and now I've lost it. I
All
don't
right.
love the bat flips. Oh, I know what it was.
Yeah.
How about Ronald Acuna's home run antics the other day? He hit some
Didn't
good
see it.
ones. Maybe Wes will find them. I don't know, but he's good at the home run antics,
Yeah,
and he does
yeah,
not care what the pitcher
he's
thinks
got
about it. He
he's got
also
a lot of
wears one
style.
every now and then.
Yeah.
Right.
Hey, you mentioned Club Twirl, Justin. That will lead us into our next segment. We'll take a break right here. We're going to talk about the debut of Happy Gilmore 2. It was certainly, I think we've got potential Oscar nominees here who might also have green jackets. We'll talk about that when Under the Bus continues, brought to you by the folks at Hudson's on the Docks, Hudson Seafood in Hilton Head Island, South Carolina, hudsonsonthedocks.com. Welcome back to Under the Bus. Bob Stevens along with Curry Kirkpatrick and Justin Jarrett sitting in for Rich Basirico tonight. Happy Gilmore 2. Have either of you watched it yet?
Loved it. I mean, I went into it with the lowest of expectations.
And you were not disappointed.
I was not
right?
disappointed. I read some hate for it before I watched it, even though I watched it the first day it was out. And so I expected it to disappoint me, and it did not. It was everything I needed it to be. I don't know about you boys, but I had the most fun watching it.
I thought the pro golfers actually did a pretty good job.
I thought they were the highlight. I thought John Daly
their role.
stole the show, drinking
John
the hand
Daly, yeah.
sanitizer. That was hysterical. Just the concept of John Daly living in his basement was hilarious from the jump. I thought Will Zalatoris being the kid that he choked out in the first one was hilarious. I thought Bad Bunny was excellent. But Curry, I think you're giving the Oscar to Scotty Scheffler, right?
Well, I haven't seen it yet, but I've been watching.
Bob was giving the Oscar.
I've been watching the Apple series Stick, which is
Yes.
about a young golfer that Owen Wilson takes under his wing. Owen Wilson being a washed-up former golfer, and of course, it's a TV series, so it's going on and on. I've seen it. I've seen through it, and it has the biggest roles in that series for a golfer is Colin Morikawa, who plays the kid in the tournament at the end. They're on the lead together.
Oh, okay. Don't tell me the ending because I haven't gotten there yet.
No, I won't tell you. But, there's a funny scene. There's a funny scene where the kid checks into the tournament, and nobody knows him. He's like 18 years old.
Right.
And who's our Ryder Cup captain? I always forget his name. He comes
Keegan
up.
Bradley, yeah.
Keegan
Bradley. He comes up to sign in, and the kid looks at him and says, he can't say his name like I could. He just looks at him like he can't get it out. And Keegan Bradley says, "Keegan, my name's Keegan I." But very few lines from real golfers in Stick.
Right.
I think far fewer than in.
Well, Morikawa was also in Happy Gilmore 2. There were a lot of golfer cameos. I thought it was funny that Koepka and DeChambeau were both playing on the side of real golf versus, maxi golf, because we know that they opted for not real golf. And so I found I thought that was a good little tongue-in-cheek poke at themselves, sort of. I thought the golfers really held their own.
How about getting lines for Jack Nicklaus and Lee Trevino?
Yes. Oh, they were tremendous. Nicklaus was great. He orders he says, "I want half iced tea, half lemonade." They say, "Oh," and Arnold Palmer, he says, "No, Jack Nicklaus," but I get that a lot.
That might have been the best line in the movie.
Did Scheffler have any good lines?
Yes, Scheffler.
No,
is it a spoiler if we say what happens to Scheffler?
I don't know.
Scheffler in the end is watching it from prison. they hauled him off.
Not again. And then he spends an extra night.
Yeah.
For the
and he spends an extra night because the food was good, right?
For the chicken tenders.
Yeah, you like the chicken tenders. So
I thought the golfers were excellent, and I really just thought that than John Daly. Gosh, they wrote the perfect role for John Daly. He was phenomenal in it.
Yes, John Daly indeed had the perfect role.
And Shooter, I thought they gave Shooter a good heroic turn at the end. That was good.
Shooter already has a sandwich commercial out of this movie.
Sure does.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. So
Shooter's milking it. Shooter's milking it.
Happy Gilmore's
he's also a big Shooter's. The actor is a big part of the TV show Hacks, which has won a bunch of Emmys.
Oh, really? Okay. Yep.
He's the boyfriend. He's the boyfriend of the Hacks actress,
Gene Smart.
Gene Smart.
Yeah.
Gene Smart.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. We still got more to talk about. We got more people to throw under the bus. Happy Gilmore's got all kinds of people to throw under the bus. I'll just throw Sandler under and let all the other guys pull him out. And
I'll throw under all the people who are dogging on the movie. Like, what did they expect it to be? It was. Did you not remember the first one? A lot of people. It was just so unrealistic. It's like, man, they made Shooter hit a shot off a 7-foot man's foot in the first one, and then they made Adam Sandler hit a crazy shot off a fallen TV tower. Like, there was a lot of suspension of disbelief.
But that's what we expect from Happy Gilmore.
It was great. It was great.
Yeah, we'll be back with some thoughts on Venus Williams, on softball, and we got to throw Bill Belichick in. We'll throw him under the bus, as well as some other folks when we continue. Brought to you by Hudson'sOnTheDocks.com. All right, we are back in a hurry. Woo, that was a quick break.
I think that was a finger slip. Worldwide
Curry,
slip.
you were taken back to your youth earlier this week by Venus Williams, of all people. How about that?
I was. If I could take a personal privilege here, I met Venus Williams. I've known Venus and Serena since they were 8 and 10 years old.
Wow.
And since Venus was 45 and won a match this week to make a lot of publicity, so I figured that's 35 years ago. I did a CBS piece on the sisters, and I went to Compton, where Richard Williams, their father, famously had befriended all the gangs in Compton, and they had protection around the tennis courts. And I met these gang leaders who had guys with guns poised around the courts, and met Richard and met Venus and Serena, of course, and they were 10 and 8 at the time. And Richard said then that Serena was going to be a better player. Venus was getting all the publicity. Nobody even knew about Serena then. Venus was the big prodigy, and so we went out to do her, and her sister was kind of just her hitting partner. But the thing that was so amazing, they were so good. First of all, it was ridiculous how good they were. But then I had to figure out, what am I going to ask a 10-year-old girl and an 8-year-old girl? What are my questions going to be? I was so embarrassed. I didn't know what to ask them. And of course, they didn't have any. They didn't want to talk to me. They didn't want to talk. But we had them sit down, and I asked a couple things about their goals and their dreams and things that you ask kids, because that's what I had to do. And I had two daughters, but it was kind of like that. What would I ask my daughters about playing here? I asked them about the courts, and if they played on clay, if they ever played on clay. Later on, Richard would move the girls to Florida, where they, of course, got used to clay. But every time I see, these days, these later weeks and months and years, every time I see Serena and Venus, I think back to that story I did when it was so uncomfortable, me talking to, and we've got them saying, I want to win Wimbledon. You got Venus saying, I want, I want to win Wimbledon. Serena says, I want to win the US Open. It's like, I remember that thing. It was this kind of thing, I wasn't writing it, but I was doing some stuff with CBS. And so I could do the TV thing. But did you think at the time that they were?
that they would?
Truth.
They were really good. I mean,
Yeah.
you can tell. I mean, they were, because I'm a tennis player and I knew
You knew
what
they would at
kids-
least rise to a certain
Well, I knew
level.
what kids 10 and 8 look like, and they didn't look like that.
Yeah.
I mean, but the amazing thing that he was teaching him all by himself in those days. He was coaching him all. He was the guy, and
great.
he would, hit buckets of balls to him, and he'd get on them for style hitting and their form and the whole thing. And they were, they were little girls, so they would take a break and go run around the courts and hang out and do stuff.
Yeah.
And but to say I would know they were going to be Grand Slam champions many times over, no, I wouldn't have known that, of course. But they were really, really good at the time.
Yeah, I had some of those awkward interviews with young kids. Go ahead.
Yeah. But I was going to say, so this week, Venus gets a wild card into Washington and wins her first round match. She beat a girl named Peyton Stearns, who was the NCAA champion in 22. She served 9 aces. She beat her in straight sets. It was her 819th match. Can you imagine that? And she's 45 now. I didn't remember. And of course, she's unranked. She wore plain
a ton of doubles.
She wore a plain dress. Yeah, she won her doubles. She won a couple matches in doubles, but then lost. But she wore just a plain black dress. She looked tremendous, with logo free, no logos, of course, because she's not signed with it. Nobody's, got her
Nobody's
anymore.
paying her.
Yeah, and
I'm surprised somebody didn't pay her to wear their brand this week.
Well, I didn't. I had forgotten this. She was only the second oldest to win a match on tour, and the oldest is Martina Navratilova, who was 47 when she won a match at Wimbledon. Yeah. I do not remember that, but boy, that's
for Martina. Some reason I did remember that. That stuck in my mind.
Venus hadn't played for 16 weeks, and 11 months. She hadn't played for 11 months, and they asked Martina about this, and she said, her not playing for 11 months and then coming out is more astounding than winning the match. She thought it was, and she was pounding serves, and she plays everything is big hit with her. And in the second round, she played the fifth seed, a girl named Magdalena Frake, who's ranked 25th in the world, I think. And Venus just started spraying everything around. But she's got a wild card into Cincinnati in the singles, and she's got a doubles wild card into the U.S. Open. So mixed doubles. So I mean, it's just incredible to see her doing this at 45. And who knows? I think Serena's going to come out and start playing again too. I mean, she's 2 years younger. And,
why not?
Well, I mean, anything you can do, I can do better, right? That's what's always fueled her.
Hey, let me bring up another tennis note on this tournament because I wouldn't normally watch Washington, but it had all the great American players in it who summarily were beaten by a Spanish kid named Alejandro Davidovich Fokina. And first of all, he beat Fritz in 3 sets, a match that I turned it on in the really late. It started really late. I went and watched something else on TV. I turned back at 1:30. They were starting the third set at 1:30. Now they're going under the bus for that. For these tournaments that start the matches so late. And there were a lot of people still there. So so Fokina beat Fritz, who he'd beaten 2 times before. Then the next match, he plays Ben Shelton, and he breaks him 4 times. He breaks Shelton's serve 4 times, which is unheard of. Yeah, and he's beaten Shelton 2 or 3 times. So this guy can really play. So I watched the final, and he got beat by Alex de Minaur, the Demon from Australia, who's now 8-8 in the world. But it's the second time he'd reached the finals. He had 3 match points, Fokina, and lost. And he was weeping at the end of the match. When people come, he was weeping on the chair. And I have never seen this before. but long after they're starting to do the ceremonies, and he's still there crying in his towel with his towel over his head. And D. Manure went over to him and sat down and put his arm around him and talked to him for about 5 minutes. It was unbelievable sportsmanship to get this
Super
kid,
classy.
back. Yeah, it was great. I mean, it was.
Didn't McEnroe used to do that with Connors?
Yeah.
You go say, "What are you crying about, Jimmy?"
You want a little more? Yeah.
Yeah.
Give you something to cry about.
Yeah.
Justin, you want to talk softball?
Yeah, I don't know if y'all caught it. Probably not very many people did this weekend, unfortunately. But the AUSL, the Athletes Unlimited Softball League Championship Series, was this weekend, and the weather played havoc. Mother Nature goes under the bus. They were in Tuscaloosa. They were supposed to play Saturday afternoon, and then again Sunday afternoon, and then the third game would have been Monday. And first one got rained out right before it was about to start on Saturday. They had to play it Sunday morning and then come back and play at 2:00 Sunday afternoon when it got delayed by rain again, and they didn't finish until later in the evening. So just a super bummer for the fans. I know a few local people, big softball players and coaches that were able to score tickets and were there, and they had to sit through a bunch of rain. So Mother Nature goes under the bus, but it was a really good product that they put on the field in this league this year. And if you're not tuned into it, if you enjoy that College World Series every year, Women's College World Series, check out this league because it's just going to get better. And it exceeded my expectations, much like
it's professional league. The girls are professional after.
Yeah, and they're doing it in this model that is becoming popular with some of these niche leagues, like the Professional Lacrosse League and even the Savannah Bananas, where they take the show on the road. And so you don't have to rely on the fan base in just 4 cities to support this thing. They take all 4 teams on the road every weekend and play somewhere else. And they're playing college stadiums and stuff around the country. So it's got legs. It's a good product.
Are they going to go to home bases next year? I
don't know.
I
think maybe down the road. Okay. But
because I watched the first game.
I think this traveling model works.
Yeah,
I really think it works.
Yeah.
For the
speaking of legs, as you guys know, I have softball legs, having played with Eddie Feiner, the king and his court, as you know.
I have too.
So.
Okay, Curry, did he strike you out from second base?
I was playing with him, so I wasn't.
Oh, you were on his team.
Smart move.
Yeah.
Smart move.
I was in the King's court. Of course.
I was playing against him, and he struck me out from second base blindfolded.
Well, you're not the only one, right?
Yeah, I'm not. Yeah, I'm not the only one. What a great story that is.
You were about to
mention under the buses.
Well, you were about to mention my home coach, Mr. Belichick.
Yeah.
We mentioned we were going to. Yeah, let's throw Bill under the bus.
He came to his first college media day in Charlotte, representing the University of North Carolina. He was the star of the show. It was like a celebrity outing where everybody else just flocked, reporters and other coaches. The reporters just didn't care about talking to anybody except Belichick. And they said there were 100 reporters and cameramen. They had to move the North Carolina media room to a bigger room and have it one of the representatives of the ACC had to come and sort of do the questions rather than the other coaches where they didn't have any representatives. But apparently he acted human. He didn't snarl at anybody. Of course, here's what's going on at the bus. For 30 minutes he did this, and not one person, asked him about Jordan Hudson. So the media has to go under the
press
bus.
corps under the bus.
Not one time. Yeah, exactly.
My guy Pablo Torre would ask.
Yeah, well, he apparently Dabo Sweeney said, more than one time he said, I was watching this and I said, yeah, that's Bill Belichick over there. That's Bill Belichick right there in the ACC coaches meetings. He says, this is the most 2025 thing ever. said Dabo Sweeney. He also
Oh, sure.
That's a good line.
Uh-huh, uh-huh.
he also said to the press, he had, he said before Belichick came on, or I guess what he was doing, he said, did he give you all more than we're on to camp?
We're on to
And
Cincinnati.
apparently he did. He was apparently he did. He
Too
was
bad
very
they don't open with
forthcoming.
Cincinnati. That would have been
He was
great.
very forthcoming about recruiting and how he, and everything else. He was apparently very good
They
and
must have given him a gummy.
didn't get nasty at all. Yeah.
That's going to be something to watch, I think. Interestingly, this fall is the other coaches in the ACC. The head coach always gets together, the two head coaches out in the middle of the field while guys are stretching and getting loose. And these guys are going to be out asking for autographs from Belichick, during the little coach time that they all have. That'll be interesting.
Well, people more knowledgeable than me have looked at their schedule, and North Carolina's schedule is apparently ridiculous. I mean, they're only going to be underdog in one game against Clemson. Everybody else they should beat. Now they open, the second hardest game they have is TCU, the opener at home. So, but TCU, I don't, I'm just going to be interested if Belichick can win the first year, if they can, get over 500. That's going to be,
Well,
They should be able to in that league.
If they're favored in all these games, they should.
But in the past, they've had Drake May and they've had Sam Howell, and they barely, won 7-8 games.
Touché.
Come on.
Takes more than one guy.
But now you
I've
got
got one.
Belichick.
I've got an under the bus for you.
All right.
I think we can all get behind this one. I'm throwing cancer under the bus. Took another legend tonight while we were recording. A legend in my world, especially Ryan Sandberg, Hall of Fame second baseman.
No.
Cubs, passed away today at age 65. He had been diagnosed with metastatic prostate cancer in 2024. So Rhino is gone. Cancer under the bus.
Yeah,
Go get checked, fellas.
Yeah,
that's brutal. And speaking of cancer, and right for you to throw it on the bus, you saw today that Deion had his big press conference. He is apparently, at least for now, has beaten bladder cancer.
That's right.
and is this true that they built a new bladder for him?
That's what I read, heard on the news, that they had out of other parts of his internal organs built a.
Got enough money, they can do some miraculous things these days.
Yeah.
I'm not sure you or I could afford a new bladder, but Deion can.
He got a good insurance plan, and he.
And
the nice thing is he sounded, for all of Deion's usual bluster, he actually sounded fairly humble by all of this.
Humility. Well,
maybe
humble you for sure.
He said when you have, when you're actually making out your will, he says that kind of gets you to thinking about that.
Well, he told everybody to get checked. He kept saying that. Yeah.
And obviously, the Ryan Sandberg news should remind us all to do that, and that would be the way to leave this one, at least on a little higher note. Justin, great.
Absolutely.
Thanks for pinch hitting. Good job.
Love it. I always enjoy it.
We didn't throw any high and tight on you. Maybe should have. Curry, good show. Rich will be back, I hope, next week, and we'll do it all again and throw somebody. We got a lot of people under the bus tonight. We'll throw some more under next week. Thanks for joining us.
Okay, take care.